In 2026, the PC market's gone a bit mad. But these days, how much can you get an Xbox 360 for? And what PCs can we build for that price? Hey guys, so I think today, for the first video I'm making on this channel, I'm going to do a cheap PC build. And as I mentioned, we're going to be trying to build something for around the price you can get an Xbox 360 for. So, 30 quid-ish, we're going to say. So this PC, essentially, is going to be pretty bare bones, but it's going to work, and we're hopefully going to get some games played on it. As you're seeing, we've got some pretty decent specs going here. So we've got an i3-3220, 8GB of RAM, a 240GB SSD, and the 1GB version of the GTX 560 Ti. Now that 1GB of VRAM is going to be quite a problem later, but we're not gonna stew on that right now. Anyway, time to build the thing. Mid-build update, just to cut in here. So everything works. We have a display output. PC thinks it's 2009, which is always a good sign. But we have our i3-3220 there at 3.3 GHz. And amazing CPU temperatures, given the fact that currently this Be Quiet cooler isn't screwed in because I lost all the mounting for it. Okay, so update. We're about 5 minutes later now, and we're into Windows. So, after a couple of issues with the cooler that you might or might not have noticed earlier, we've got the build done here. It actually looks pretty decent given the fact it cost about 25 quid, and you know, let's see what it can do in the games with a few benchmarks. We haven't really got many. 240GB SSD is a bit of a limit, but you know, we'll give it a go. So here we've got Kerbal Space Program running at 57 frames per second at 1080p medium settings. Now, as you're seeing here, this game's got a bit of an issue when it comes to load times. It takes a while to load maps, especially for bigger rockets. It can be like 20-30 seconds, which obviously you kind of expect at this price point. But you know what? It's running. And especially if you're only doing smaller builds, which I know you probably won't be, it's genuinely playable. And obviously it's a game you can't run on the Xbox 360, so yeah. I mean, I was going to put a 1% low figure in here, but the game, because of the aforementioned menus, really was just going straight down to 0 frames per second, and obviously it's not really a useful metric to include. But yeah, I think it was pretty good, and honestly better than I was expecting. That 1GB of VRAM, not an issue yet, but it will be later, just give it a bit of time. So, here with our bigger rocket that I have expertly made, we must say it totally didn't fall apart when I put it on the launchpad. We're seeing a similar, slightly lower FPS on the actual launchpad, but as it progresses, as the game progresses, as we get higher, and I assume it will renders more of the planet, that 1GB of VRAM now is starting to be a problem with it. Not enjoying it. We go down to about 20 frames per second, which obviously isn't ideal. It is still running, it's still playable, but not ideal. But again, 25 quid PC, can't really complain. I mean, again, can't run it on an Xbox 360, so you know, we're still doing what we set out to do. Skyrim Anniversary Edition here ran genuinely pretty well. 1080p medium, 43 frames per second. Now, I know the game's from like 2014, 2015, this refresh came out. It was around the time of the Xbox One, wasn't it? But you know what? I'm surprised. It's genuinely running quite nicely. It was a stable, pretty much stable anyway experience. There were some jutters here and there, but you know what? We're still getting a better experience than you would have done on that Xbox 360 that we're setting out as a little target here. I mean, yeah, it was pretty good. Now, you're seeing me in Windhelm here, I think, and in a second we're going to transition over to a bit more of an open area. Now, the open area, I'm not going to lie, didn't really see much of a change in the frame rate. So, yeah, stable all over the map and a genuinely pretty good experience. I can't fault it, to be honest. I mean, other than the graphics card running quite warm, which I guess did happen with these 500 series NVIDIA cards, and again, we're maxing out the 1 GB of VRAM here, so obviously you could probably expect higher frame rates if we got the 2 GB card. But yeah, no, pretty good experience. Pretty good experience. Now the PC was running pretty loud. It was quite distracting to have on the desk next to me. Obviously, again, expected for the price point, but like just something to be aware of. So here in Tomb Raider 2013, we genuinely saw a very good experience. 81 frames per second was our average, and then we had 1% loads of 60 frames per second. Now this was taken from the benchmark and some of the intro to the game. So yeah, it very playable. Again, quite a big surprise. Now, obviously, far better than the experience you would have had on the Xbox 360. It genuinely surprised me, this game. Like, I know I've said that basically about every game, because I'm just surprised that this £25 PC can do this, but actually very impressed. Yeah, I had to actually double check the settings at one point, because I really was not expecting it to be able to run this well. Not really much to report on other than the graphics card was still screaming, which was great. And yeah, really, really nice result here, to be honest. I mean, easily very playable, and it is a pretty good game to play, to be honest. So yeah. So just as an aside, while we let Tomb Raider play on in the background, I'm just going to give you some background here to why we're doing this channel. So I think, from my point of view, I wanted to do a YouTube channel for ages, and I didn't really know what to do it on. I didn't really know what to focus on, and yeah, I mean, I've had a love for PC hardware and stuff for quite a while now, and obviously it was a pretty clear choice in picking that. So I think we're going to try and do a video every week, obviously centered around technology, probably mainly computers, PCs, game tests on hardware that no one was really ever going to think about buying, but you know, this might help someone buy something on a budget or something like that. I just really hope it helps someone, maybe, out there. So yeah, I think check back in next week. Maybe we might get another video out by then. Before that, I'm hoping to get a bigger SSD so we can actually do a few more benchmarks, because I know I've only really included 3 in this video, so it's not exactly performative and doesn't really open up to the real world. And they're only, well, now anyway, niche games. I mean, obviously Skyrim and Tomb Raider were massive when they came out, but not really as much anymore. So yeah, a bigger SSD, whack Windows on it, get a bit of a game library going, and then we can do a bit more of a full suite of benchmarks. I might actually publish them for this PC in the next video. If anyone's interested in that, I don't know, let me know. See what it can run. Maybe some Fortnite, CS2. Have a laugh, see it can run something a bit stupid like Elden Ring. I don't know, 480p might be possible. So here we have a little i3 3220 attempting to run Cinebench. I did really try. Cinebench R23 here took 9 minutes, I think, for the run to go to completion. We got a score of 1500 points. Now that puts us about a third, just over a third of the score of the next slowest CPU on the comparison chart. But you know what? Multi-core, it's all right. It surprised me. It's a bit better than I expected it to be. So yeah, there's that for you. 3D Mark's Time Spy, on the other hand, was an absolute no-go. You can see it flickering the black screen at the end of this clip, and it just didn't have enough VRAM to run it, to be honest. So we did Fire Strike, I think it's called, isn't it, instead. So yeah, that's up next. And, well, just for the sake of the benchmark, so we can get some comparison points going maybe in the future. That'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, at least it ran. It ran. Now, obviously not earth-shatteringly well, but it ran. So I'm happy with that as much as I can be, to be honest. I think it's a good place actually to end the video here today. So yeah, overall, older games can smash them out the park. It performs better than Xbox 360, clearly, and there's a better game catalogue to choose from. And being able to actually do PC stuff, internet browsing, which you can do pretty alright, to be honest. Even on Windows 11, the bodged version, but you know, Windows 11 at that. Yeah, not really much to complain about. It genuinely surprised me. So just to give you a little price breakdown at the end of the video, we paid, I think it was about £10 for the GTX 560 Ti. Now that was a bit much, to be honest. You can probably get them for about £5 on eBay if you're lucky. Motherboard and CPU was a tenner, so that takes us up to 20 quid, or more realistically about £18 if we're getting a sensible price for the 560 Ti. 8 gigabytes of RAM, 2 quid, 4 quid, it's around under a fiver, say £23. SSD was an absolute steal at £2. The case was free. And then the one hitch I had here was the power supply. Obviously, getting a power supply for the £5 budget is possible. I mean, you can sometimes find CV550s and such like that on eBay, but I didn't go for one. I had a power supply lying around. It doesn't affect the performance, so I just couldn't see a justifiable point in buying a power supply. But yeah, I think next video, maybe double the budget, an extra £30, see what we can do with it. That could be an interesting one. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope it's helped someone, this video, or maybe hopefully the next one will. And if it has, consider subscribing. And you never know, we might get a channel going here. Who knows? See you in the next one anyway.